Mr. Young, a summary of home modification recommendations. Mr. Young, who is 68 years old, has been diagnosed with diabetic retinopathy and neuropathy, and has recently undergone a procedure to amputate his right leg above the knee due to complications with diabetes. After conducting a home assessment on Mr. Young's place of residence, several modifications on the bathroom, bedroom, and kitchen were recommended. The cabinet beneath Mr. Young's bathroom sink prohibits Mr. Young from placing his chair beneath the sink and reaching the faucet. Removing the cabinet would allow easier access to the sink. Since Mr. Young only has a shower, installing a shower chair would allow him to sit while he bathes, which would make this occupation easier and safer. By installing grab bars around the toilet, Mr. Young would be able to transfer from his chair to the toilet and back again in a safe and efficient manner. The light switch that controls Mr. Young's bedroom light and fan is mounted on a wall 83 inches away from the bed, beside a set of stairs. This makes it dangerous for Mr. Young to turn off the light and then attempt to navigate back to the bed. Installing a remote control to turn off the light would increase the safety of this task. The clothing rod in Mr. Young's closet is too high for him to reach easily while sitting in his wheelchair. Installing a clothing rod 37 inches from the floor would put his clothes within easy reach. These cabinets make it difficult for Mr. Young to reach the sink and counter surface in his wheelchair. By removing the cabinets and leaving the space empty, Mr. Young would be able to position his wheelchair beneath the sink and counter surface for easier access to these areas. Because the dishwasher sits low to the ground, Mr. Young would have to place his wheelchair beside it and then lean over as he opens the door and lowers it to the ground. Elevating the dishwasher would place it high enough so that Mr. Young would not have to lean over as he opens the door, making it safer to use. An occupation Mr. Young enjoys is cooking. To make this activity safer, a stove with controls placed on the front of the stove instead of behind the stovetop should be installed. Since Mr. Young has vision difficulty, installing brightly colored stove knobs that would contrast with the color of the stove would make it easier for Mr. Young to read. A large number display timer would be easier for Mr. Young to read than most conventional oven timers, which are usually small. Mr. Young's vision difficulties may make it difficult to distinguish between different pans and kitchen utensils. Using brightly colored utensils, bowls, and pans would make it easier for Mr. Young to identify each one. Mr. Young enjoys going to Triad Park with his family. Several adjustments could be made to the bathrooms and walking trails of the park to make them safer and more accessible for Mr. Young. The exterior of the bathroom has no automatic door opener. The interior has an automatic door opener, however it is positioned too high to reach easily. A door opener should be installed on the outside of the bathroom, and the one on the interior should be lowered. A bulletin board located beside the parking lot provides a detailed map of the park's walking trail and other information. However, the map is very small and will be difficult for someone with vision difficulties to read. Several pieces of paper were placed too high for someone to easily read while sitting in a wheelchair. The board should be lowered and a larger map should be printed so that Mr. Young will have easier access to this information. Most of the walking track at Triad Park is 8 feet wide, which is wide enough for Mr. Young to push his wheelchair and have someone walk beside him. A median of grass and mulch separates the track from the road designated for moving vehicles. However, several sections of the track are only 5 feet wide and are only separated from the road by a painted line. This is not wide enough for other individuals to walk beside Mr. Young or for a jogger or anyone on a bicycle to pass if they needed to. Mr. Young's vision difficulties may cause him to overlook the line, which could result in him accidentally driving onto the road. The 5-foot section of the walking track should be widened to 8 feet, and a median should be installed to separate the track from the road. These modifications made to Mr. Young's home, the activity of cooking, and Triad Park will allow him to engage in meaningful occupations in a safe and accessible way. The following are a list of resources and pictures used in this presentation and case study.